which freshman could win an NCAA title? There are many, many freshmen this year, just like every year, but obviously not all of them can win a title. I would like to discuss who kind of not necessarily weight by weight, but some of the most prominent freshmen who could win a title. And starting off, listen, 125 is going to be tough for anybody to win a title, let alone a freshman with Spencer Lee there. Now, Spencer Lee did it as a freshman, so, we could see somebody else, but in my opinion, highly unlikely. But moving on to 133, you have Sammy Alvarez and Ridge Lovett. Both of those guys are young freshmen. Alvarez of Rutgers, Lovett of Nebraska. Both of those guys, I believe, are in the top 15 at this point in the season. Have had decent matches with some of these other top guys. Of course, at that weight, it's going to be another difficult one with top guys in the weight like Gross, like DeSanto, like RBY. Going to be a little bit tough there. Now, moving on to the next weight at 141, you have Real Woods from Stanford. Wood had one loss in the season, actually, only to Luke Pletcher, which went into overtime. When Pletcher, yes, he came in clutch, he came in strong, he got that victory in overtime, and he does have the best win of the season over Zach Sherman of UNC. Real Woods is somebody who I believe can definitely contend for that title. Maybe a little bit tough over guys like Nick Lee, over guys like Luke Pletcher, but is a real contender for that weight. Now, before I get any further, before I get on 149, when there's one very important freshman who I think could win a title, please let me know in the comments below who you think could win an NCAA title as a freshman. It's always great to see a freshman win, just like last year when we saw Mekhi Lewis win. And the year before that, saw Spencer Lee win. Love seeing these young freshmen win national titles. Now, at 149, we have Sammy Sasso. Sammy the Machine Sasso. I just made up that nickname. I don't know why. But Sammy Sasso, he was number one ranked in the country right now. His best wins of the season, of course, over Lugo. That's his best win on the season. He has win over Brayton Lee. He's avenged his losses in the past. He's sitting at that top spot for a reason. And we could also see possibly a Brayton Lee who, like I said, has beat Sasso this year already. Could Brayton Lee, also a freshman, win an NCAA title at 149? Very possible. And these two have battled out in the past, but they will have other tough competition. Let's not put that aside by any means. With Pat Lugo, with Austin O'Connor, with now Matt Kolodziej, multiple-time All-American. It's going to be tough for for the freshman to win it, but I think it's very, very possible. Next up at 157, another freshman who could win a title is David Carr from Iowa State. He's 14-1 on the season this far. Actually, I believe maybe 15-1 at this point. He has a loss to Deacon at the Cliff Keen Las Vegas tournament. Deacon sitting at the number one spot. So having lost only to the number one ranked guy in the country, not necessarily that bad of a thing going into this point in the season. He does have a win over Caleb Young, who, yes, was, I guess, devalued a little bit this past week with his loss to Sheets, but he also has wins over Teamer as well as Sheets. So last season, interestingly enough, he actually beat another freshman in Brayton Lee, who's now Carr's up a weight, but Carr's been a guy who I've enjoyed watching this season, and I will be excited to watch in the postseason, see how he does. Now, at 165, another Stanford wrestler. I already mentioned Real Woods, but now we have Shane Griffith, who is undefeated this season. I believe he's 26-0, with wins over Ethan Smith, who he beat by pin, with wins over Kennedy Monday, who we've seen already upset guys like David McFadden and his a great wrestler. Over Schedule, over Whitlake of Oklahoma State. Now, last year, to give you some perspective as far as how good this freshman is, because, maybe he didn't wrestle a Marinelli or a Vincenzo this year, but in the past, he wrestled Vincenzo. He wrestled him at the Southern Scuffle and lost to him 6-4. Now, yes, Vincenzo can have a lot of tight matches where he still dominates the match, but it's maybe a little bit tougher. But I'm interested to see how Shane Griffith does in this postseason. We've seen this weight already won by a freshman last season in Mekhi Lewis. It's been won by Vincenzo Joseph in the past as a freshman. Could it be won by a freshman this season? Now, at 174, no really crazy ranked Frosh. There's one ranked guy, I believe, right now. He's like number 24 from Michigan State, sitting around that ranking. But at 184, wow, that weight's loaded with freshmen. That weight is loaded with freshmen. In Trent Hidley, in Aaron Brooks, in Abisad, in Rocky Jordan. Jeez, oh man, this weight is loaded with freshmen. Now, Hidley has losses on the season to Hunter Bolin, to Dupre, to Valencia, who now we know is out indefinitely suspended for the season. But he's sitting at a strong part now that we know that Valencia is out. Really, any of these freshmen could definitely win. With Aaron Brooks, who we've seen peaking and getting better and better as the season has progressed. Abisad, who had a relatively decent match with Brooks. I think Brooks kind of dominated him, but the fact is that Assad has beat tough guys like Venz, where Brooks has lost to Venz. And then Rocky Jordan, who I think is sitting kind of at the bottom of these pile out of these guys, but still, as freshmen, I think it's a weight. It's an age where like you could see those crazy upsets happening, and I think I love to see that. And I think that's great to see, a great weight to see. Now, moving on, 197. Again, I don't think it was a weight where there are any crazy freshmen to note necessarily. Now, maybe somebody comes out, and please, if I'm missing somebody, please comment below so that I know to watch out for them at the national tournament. But at 285, how could I miss out on Anthony Cassioppi? Cassioppi, number 3 in the country right now. Yes, he does have losses to the top 2 guys, but he has wrestled strong this season. He's a big guy, a big muscular guy, gets guys down to the mat, and is able to, ride him out, a strong heavyweight, a dominant heavyweight. The other guy is a Harvard wrestler, actually, and Yaroslav Slavikowski, and he is the top 10 ranked wrestler right now in the country. He has, yes, he does have losses to Hall, to Hilger, to Stencil, but his best win is over Hokett as well as Isley. Hokett is an All-American last year, so that's showing that Slavikowski, maybe he gets that All-American status this year. Maybe he does win a national title. And Cassioppi is, like I said, he has losses in the past, but maybe he could win that title if he pulls out something different come into the postseason. Now, who are the top 3 guys, the top guys who I think have the best chances of winning a title? Number 3 I have is Shane Griffith. Griffith, like I said, he's at a weight class that has been won by a freshman in the past. We've seen him wrestle undefeated this season. He's had tight matches with Chenzo in the past, and I'd like to see, I'm just excited to see how he does postseason. The next 2 guys, Hidley or Brooks, I think either of these guys, really anybody at 184, any of these freshmen, it's a weight that's really up for grabs right now. We can see a couple of guys winning that weight class. And number 1, I think has the best chance of winning, he's sitting at the number 1 spot right now, is Sammy Sasso at 149 pounds. I'm really excited to see how he does in the postseason.